pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome, everyone. Just a reminder, if you have a cell phone, to please put it on silent. Lorenda, can we have roll call, please?
Good evening, Council. I'll start with you, Mayor Bain.
Here.
Councilor Gorell.
Here.
Councilor Lundstrom.
Here.
Councilor Scalise.
Here.
Councilor Sherman. Councilor Spradlin.
Here.
Councilor Straub.
Here.
Okay, a couple of new items to bring to your attention at this time. One is we had planned on a NECAL presentation on the Mustang at our next meeting. They're here tonight, so I would entertain a motion to approve a presentation by NECAL for tonight.
I'd move we go ahead and approve NECAL's presentation.
Okay, we have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Allison, second. Any further discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Councilor Lundstrom.
Yes.
Councilor Spradlin.
Yes.
Councilor Straub.
Yes.
Councilor Scalise.
Yes.
Councilor Gorell.
Yes.
Mayor Bain.
Yes. Second item, I would like to ask for a motion to add an item to our work session to talk about a resolution in support of our meat industry and brush. And we can get into more detail in the work session, but I need a motion to add that to the work session.
I move that we add a discussion for the meat celebration into our work session.
Okay, we have a motion to approve that to the work session. Do I have a second?
Second. Excuse me, second.
Kevin, second. Any further discussion on that? Roll call vote, please.
Councilor Spradlin.
Yes.
Councilor Scalise.
Yes.
Councilor Lundstrom.
Yes.
Councilor Straub.
Yes.
Councilor Gorell.
Yes.
Mayor Bain.
Yes. Okay, moving on to item number 3, approval of the minutes. You've all had a chance to look at the regular meeting minutes from February 22nd. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes? Hearing none, I'd look for a motion to approve them as submitted.
So moved.
Second?
Okay, Councilor Strau with a motion to approve, Councilor Scalise with a second. Any further discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Councilor Gorell.
Yes.
Councilor Lundstrom.
Yes.
Councilor Straub.
Yes.
Councilor Spradlin.
Yes.
Councilor Scalise.
Yes.
Mayor Bain.
Yes. Okay, we also have minutes from a special meeting held on March 3rd. Are there any additions or corrections to those minutes? Hearing none, I'd look for a motion to approve.
So moved.
Okay. Councilor Spradlin approves. Councilor Strauss, second. Any further discussion? Roll call vote.
Councilor Scalise.
Yes.
Councilor Straub.
Yes.
Councilor Lundstrom.
Yes.
Councilor Gorell.
Yes.
Councilor Spradlin.
Yes.
Mayor Bain.
Yes. Okay, with that, we can move to visitors and delegations, and we'll open the floor to Lee Kaug for a presentation.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. My name is Dr. Stephen Homke. I'm the Director of Transportation for NECALG, and we're going to talk briefly about the Mustang route service, which is being provided by CDOT for the state of Colorado, and NECALG will be the one operating the Sterling to Greeley, Sterling to Denver route. So Mustang's actually a service that started in 2015, and the Outrider program started in 2018 with the specific desire to get the bus service to the smaller communities throughout Colorado. The purpose of the Outrider gives riders reliable service, new buses, consistent schedules, reduced fares, convenient connections, and on-time service. The main point of this service right here is to help seniors, to help people getting to and from work, to help people getting to and from medical appointments in Greeley and Denver. That's people that are going to be using the service the most. It can also be used by tourists. It can be used by citizens for any purpose whatsoever. Current services: Gunnison to Denver daily, Allison to Pueblo daily, Lamar to Colorado Springs on weekdays only, Durango to Grand Junction daily, and Craig to Denver daily. So those are the current routes that they're currently running for the Mustang. COVID-19, we've all seen changes. Currently, because of the Department of Transportation regulations, due to the executive order signed by the President, all buses, all public transportation requires masks at all times. This is not an option. It is mandatory unless the person has a medical excuse to not wear one. All other persons aged 2 and above must wear one. So other than that, we are sanitizing the buses daily. We have a product that we're able to use, which doesn't have to be wiped down or anything else. Very effective, no odor, and we haven't had any negative impacts with any of the riders on any of our vehicles that we've used it with. So it's a very good thing there. It is certified by the EPA, and also it has a safe label on it. So if someone was to accidentally drink it, you might get the runs, but that'd be about it. Routes that are coming up this year. Sterling to Denver has been approved. It's in the works right now, and we have an anticipated start date of July 1st. The Telluride to Grand Junction, Trinidad to Pueblo routes are both scheduled to start this summer. We don't have a firm date on those yet. And the Craig to Denver route just started in January. The funding for this comes 100% from the federal government through DOT. So there's no cost to your city, no cost to NECALG or anyone else. All the expenses are reimbursed through CDOT funds. The only cost there might be would be if you decide to put up a private property or something like that for the location for the bus stop. That would not be covered by the grant. The grant has approved for the city of Sterling $80,000 for the construction of a bus stop and shelter. So that's already approved. The partners for this program with CDOT are NECALG, and the County Express bus service operated by NECALG. So we will be the ones actually driving the buses, our employees following our policies and procedures and everything else as well. The route, regularly scheduled stop, Monday through Friday, Sterling, Brush, Fort Morgan, Log Lane Village, Wiggins. On Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, or actually that's on a different slide, we'll get to that in just a moment here. For the Greeley run, they're going to add Kersey North Colorado Medical Center in Greeley and the Greeley Evans Transit Center. So those will be the stops in Greeley. In Denver, on Tuesday and Thursday, we would go to Keensburg, Hudson, Lochbuie, Aurora, and Denver Union Station. The ones that are marked with the square, which is Atwood, Merino, Hill Rose, and Roggan, are flag stops. The bus will drive to the bus stop and see if there's anyone there. If there's no one there, they will immediately leave. The other stops that are marked with a circle, including Brush, are time stops. That means the bus is going to get there to that stop. Doesn't matter what time they get there, they will not leave until the designated time. And that's in order to keep the schedule on time and no matter what the weather and everything else. We have not actually set the actual schedule. That's going to be coming up once we receive the buses, probably in the month of May from CDOT. Then we will drive the route with the buses to be sure that we have actual times for the stops and set that up. We are currently planning on one trip per day, leaving Sterling in the morning at 6:30, returning back to Sterling at 5:30 in the afternoon. The times for that are in accordance with DOT regulations for public transportation. They're only permitted to be on the road for a certain number of hours per day. So we have to limit the schedules to fit those hours. As we pick up service and we get more riders, we can add more buses, we can add larger buses. Whichever is desired for the route that would be most cost feasible, as well as for the drivers and the passengers, what's going to be most comfortable and beneficial for them as well. We are starting out with the 14 passenger buses. So these buses, they are going to have all the amenities necessary as far as HEPA air filtering. They're going to have air conditioning, heaters, of course. They also have the COVID supplies such as face masks, hand sanitizer for the passengers and driver. Pricing, 17 cents per mile according to CDOT Bustang routes throughout the entire state in order to be consistent. So from Sterling to Wiggins, it would be $11. Sterling to Greeley, $17. Sterling to Denver, $22. And naturally, using a little bit of math, you subtract the 11 from the 17 or from the 22 to get the price from Wiggins to the other locations.
Is that round trip price, or is that?
One-way price.
One-way price, okay.
Correct.
Okay.
They do not accept the Colorado Medicaid. That's all provided through IntelliRide for the state of Colorado.
And disabled riders that showed on there were half price, is that?
Senior citizens are half price.
Okay.
They have not made a decision yet on disabled. I believe they will also be half price.
Yeah, it shows it on the, it says seniors, children 2 to 11, and disabled.
Okay,
Okay,
so they have changed it then.
okay,
So that will be half price.
okay.
Any consideration for veterans?
Not at this time, no. I wish we could discount for everyone, but unfortunately, the ride pricing right now at 17 cents per mile is about 30% of the actual cost. So that's mandated by state law or state regulations for CDOT, and they have to maintain that pricing plan. They can make more money on it, but they cannot make less than 30%. CDOT has recently launched digital sales. People can use their cell phone or their computer to purchase tickets. Those tickets can be purchased for their entire trip at the one stop. So that means that if they're using their cell phone, they can actually purchase their ticket to Denver, and then in Denver, they can purchase their tickets for the RTD system for wherever they're going to in Denver. And they only have to pay once. They don't have to make several payments to do that. And it's all put on their phone, and they just show it to the driver, and they're good to go. Very simple and easy. If they don't have that capability, they still have the ability to pay with cash on the bus.
Now, excuse me, just one second, now you said Denver, is Greeley the same sort of thing?
Correct.
Greeley, you get on their.
Using the GT system, yes.
GT, okay,
Greeley Evans Transit.
okay,
So wherever they're going to,
Yeah.
that would be included.
okay.
So you're guaranteed if you get on your phone, you're guaranteed the trip, like say, so many people, get on their phone and get tickets, but then there's people waiting at a stop, they wanna get on this bus and it's full. But the guys that have the tickets are the next stop, what happens then?
They're actually providing us with 2 buses, not just one. Plus, we have other buses in our fleet that we're able to use if necessary. So if we ever have a full bus, we can send another bus out right away. So they might be a little bit delayed, but, especially just starting out, we don't expect that to happen at all. But as it gets more popular, it could happen. That's when they'd consider adding more buses or larger buses.
But they'd be guaranteed, if they went on the phone and on the app, they'd be guaranteed a ride, right?
Yes, but not necessarily at that time. It might be a follow-up bus.
Gotcha.
So that's a picture of what the bus is going to look like without the wrap. It's going to have the traditional Bustang wrap, which is a dark wrap. It's going to have NECOG Prairie Express on there as well. Okay, we are looking for feedback from the town of Greeley, from the town of Brush, for possible bus stop locations. We would like your council to consider that, and there have been some locations that have been recommended to us. I'll go over those in just a moment here, but that is for you guys to work on in your work sessions and for you to decide upon. We are trying to work with you. If you don't come up with a location, we might put it at the truck stop or something like that. Someplace that's close to the highway and convenient for all the citizens. But somewhere near the downtown, central part of town might actually be more convenient for you. So we want to take your considerations into effect when we make the bus stop decision for.
And we're already looking into that, so.
Excellent, thank you. Okay, contacts, I can give you this by email if you'd like. My email address is Stephen, S-T-E-P-H-E-N .HOEMKE at NECALG, which is NECALG.org. If you want to send me an email, I can add you onto any future conference calls that we have. We will be having 2 or 3 of those prior to the startup of the system. Additionally, if you would like a copy of the presentation, I can send that to you as well.
Can you give me the email one more time? I didn't get quite all of it.
STEPHEN
Okay?
dot HOEMKE@necalg.org.
Okay, thank you.
And I do have business cards if you'd like that as well. It has it on there.
Okay.
You mentioned we could get a copy of the presentation,
Absolutely.
if you wouldn't mind, please.
Yeah, if you send me an email, I would be happy to send that to you. So, I'll
send
give
it
you
to you
a
right
business
now.
card here.
Okay,
Thank you, sir.
That's got my phone and my email.
thank you.
I could
You're welcome.
email him and then just email it out.
Oh,
to you.
okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Great.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions for me? Well, I thank you very much for your time. I'm looking forward to working with the City of Brush and getting this up and running. As I mentioned, we are looking at a July 1st projected start date. Things that might impact that date right now, there is a recall on the Ford buses. This is built on a Ford chassis, and because of that, they cannot release it to DOT until they have addressed the recall concerns.
Okay.
That, there is a chance that could delay it a little bit and give us an August 1st start date instead of July 1st. As Ford just announced a fix for the recall, so they're starting to work on those. And once they get that particular chassis repaired, with the insulation between the engine and the passenger compartment, then they will release the vehicle to CDOT for further work.
Okay.
Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.
All right, very good,
Thank you,
thank
sir.
you. Okay, is there anyone that would like to publicly comment at this time? Okay, moving on to number 5, management. First on our agenda, 5A, ratification of a JAG grant presented by our police chief, Derek Boss.
Good evening, council. Actually, 2 years ago now, we received a JAG grant to create a drug task force. It's a 4-year grant. It was delayed because of litigation, so we finally got the money in July, and they staggered it out basically a year and a half from when we originally received it. Being that it's a 4-year grant, we get it, but we have to request funding every year. They work off the assumption that if we satisfy what we're looking for early, we're not going to ask for more money. So I'm just working on that application right now. My hope is to have that turned in yet this week, sometime May, June, or July, whenever the state finalizes the process. We will need the mayor's signature, so I'm just looking for that ratification this evening.
Okay, so you're
So-
looking for approval for that?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
So
all right.
no
Any questions?
significant changes other than with salary increases, we're requesting more funding just to accommodate that.
Okay, all right, thank you, chief. With that, I'd look for a motion on this item.
I move we ratify the JAG grant process.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the JAG grant. Do I have a second?
Second?
Counselor Lundstrom, second. Any further discussion? Roll call vote.
Counselor Garrell,
Yes.
Counselor Schreiber,
Yes.
Counselor Staley,
Yes.
Counselor Lundstrom,
Yes.
Counselor Stroud,
Yes.
Mayor Bain.
Yes. Okay, moving on to 5B, Resolution 2021-2. Again, Police Chief Derek Boss.
This is a resolution to increase the 911 surcharge from its current rate of 70 cents per phone line per month up to $1.72 per phone line per month. With that, seeking your approval on it.
Okay. Any questions, council have? Okay. I'd look for a motion on this item as well.
I move that we approve resolution number 2021-2, resolution amending the amount imposed for emergency telephone charge set forth in section 5320 of the Brush Municipal Code.
Okay, a motion to approve by Counselor Garrell. Do I have a second?
Second.
Counselor Felice, second. Any further discussion? Roll call vote.
Counselor Stroud,
Yes.
Counselor Lundstrom,
Yes.
Counselor Schreiber,
Yes.
Counselor Scalise,
Yes.
Counselor Garrell,
Yes.
Mayor Bain.
Yes. Okay, moving on to 5C, Ordinance Number 860-21. I've got our city attorney on the phone line. Dan, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. Mayor, can you hear me?
Yeah, you want to go ahead with that presentation?
All right. Thank you, Mayor, Council. We're under 80-80-21 right now, correct?
Yes, 880-21.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So this is an ordinance amending the liquor code, and my computer is having a rough time right now. But I apologize, I am locked up here, I can't even pull up the ordinance. Can you confirm, is this the,
Yeah, it's the liquor occupation fees.
okay. So this is, to amend the code regarding liquor occupation tax, and set it as a fee which is amendable by council by resolution. We're just seeking your approval.
Okay, and I would remind council, this was approved at our last meeting on first reading, so we're looking for second reading on this, so. With that, I would look for a motion.
I move we approve ordinance number 880-21, the ordinance amending Chapter 6, Article 2 of the Brush Municipal Code regarding liquor occupation fees.
Okay, we have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
It's Councilor Spradlin, second. Any further discussion? And one thing I'd add, this takes all Class A operators through F down to the $50 that we talked about in work session. Okay, let's go ahead and go with roll call vote.
Counselor Scalisi.
Yes.
Counselor Lindstrom.
Yes.
Counselor Spradlin.
Yes.
Counselor Gravel.
Yes.
Counselor Stroud.
Yes.
Mayor Bain.
Yes. Okay, moving on to 5D, Ordinance 881-21, Ordinance adopting Chapter 18, Article 3 of the Brush Municipal Code. Rick Karoglian, Assistant City Administrator.
Good evening, council. As you're aware, we talked about this in our work session and wanted to bring it up. This is be our first reading and publication. So just to remind you, our current code is at the 2003 IRC, International Residential Code. And I've been talking regularly with our other city managers in the region, and we're all going to be advancing to the 2018 together so that we'd be consistent in a region and it'd be easier for all of our standards to be the same with our contractors. So that's the main reason why we're doing it. The second reason is it's going to substantially decrease our score, which would be a good thing for ISO. So we're at the worst possible score ever, a 10. Actually, we went where we were a 9, and now we're a 10 because we haven't changed anything. So by changing it, it's going to get us dropped significantly.
And that's because we're so far behind with the
Yes.
code?
Yes.
Okay,
And a lot of other things, but we're moving in a good direction in our building department.
okay.
So that's what that one is, and 2018 is where we're moving to.
Okay. Okay, so with that, are there any questions, council?
Oh, let me clarify something
Yes.
else too. Just to make sure you understand, our building code, our city code, in chapter 18, this is where you're gonna find your codes. We're only changing the first two parts of that. That's the IRC and the IBC. And then we're gonna bring it back to you to then change the specifics like the plumbing part, the mechanical part, the environmental part. And we're gonna wait a little bit just to make sure regionally that we're all gonna be taking the same exemptions too. And at this point, we don't know. But we do wanna adopt the code, and then we'll change the other sections in the code later. So
Okay.
just to clarify that.
Okay. All right, with that, if there's a counselor to introduce by title,
Should we have introduced the last one?
That was the second one.
I'm showing this as first reading.
This is first reading.
Yeah, this is first reading,
Oh,
right?
okay, I
Yeah.
see. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, I will would like to introduce ordinance number 881-21, ordinance adopting Chapter 18, Article 3 of the Brush Municipal Code, adopting the 2018 edition of the International Residential Code for the first reading.
Okay, now that the ordinance has been introduced, I'd look for I'm sorry.
Well, that's just correction, I'm sorry. 882, not 881.
No, this is 881.
880-21. Oh, no, 881-21.
Number D, or, yeah, D.
You're on D.
Okay, I thought I've already crossed it off. I'm ahead of you guys.
You are ahead of me. Okay, so we have introduced ordinance number 881-21, just to clarify by title. So I would look for a motion to approve on first reading and publish.
And so move.
Okay, Counselor Scalisi makes a motion to approve on first reading. Do I have a second?
Second.
Counselor Lundstrom, second. Any further discussion on this topic? Roll call vote, please.
Counselor Spradlin,
Yes.
Counselor Scalisi,
Yes.
Counselor Stroud,
Yes.
Counselor Garrell,
Yes.
Counselor Lundstrom,
Yes.
Mayor Bing.
Yes. Moving on to 5E, pertains to ordinance number 882-21. Again, Assistant City Administrator Rick Caroglian.
So the only difference between the first one and this one is for commercial buildings. And so we're going to adopt the 2018 IBC standard. So it's basically the same, but it's the next section in our building code that's going to be adjusted.
Okay. Do I have a counselor to introduce by title?
I would like to introduce ordinance number 882-21, the ordinance amending Chapter 18, Article 2 of the Brush Municipal Code, adopting the 2018 edition of the International Building Code.
Okay, we have the ordinance introduced. I'd look for a motion to approve on first reading and publish.
So moved.
Counselor Spradlin with motion to approve, second.
I'll second.
Counselor Garrell, seconds. Any further discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Counselor Lundstrom,
Yes.
Counselor Stroud,
Yes.
Counselor Scalisi,
Yes.
Counselor Spradlin,
Yes.
Counselor Garrell,
Yes.
Mayor Bing.
Yes. Okay, moving on to, we have so many of these tonight, it's hard to keep track. Moving on to F, ordinance number 884-21, an ordinance amending Chapter 6 of the City Code of the City of Brush. Assistant City Administrator Rick Caroglian.
Wow, deja vu. So this section we have discussed as well, but just to remind you, the cities that are all around Brush, Sterling, Fort Morgan, Wiggins, have all contractor licensing. Doesn't mean that they produce licenses for these specific fields. It just means they give them authorization to work within their city. And so Brush has not had one, but there's other documents that I found that Brush looked like had started to try to incorporate something like that. We just never did. And through the chaos of our, turnover, the ball was dropped, and now we're picking it back up to say, let's go ahead and do this. So this is the first reading of enacting this code.
Okay, do I have a counselor that would like to introduce by title?
I will introduce ordinance number 884-21, ordinance amending Chapter 6 of the City Code of the City of Brush, Colorado, adopting contractor licensing in the City of Brush.
Okay, the ordinance has been introduced. Do I have a motion to approve on first reading and publish?
So moved.
Okay, Counselor Stroud with a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Counselor Sweezy, second. Discussion? I think when we talked about this at work session too, I think this will go a long way to helping our community with maybe unscrupulous contractors that come through. It gives us, if I understand this correctly, it gives us the ability to keep a list of contractors that have their license through the city, so that if residents can call in, they can check to make sure they have the insurance requirements and that sort of thing? Okay, all right. With that, are we ready to vote? Roll call vote, please.
Counselor Spradlin,
Yes.
Counselor Lundstrom,
Yes.
Counselor Stroud,
Yes.
Counselor Scalisi,
Yes.
Counselor Garrell,
Yes.
Mayor Bain.
Yes. Okay, 5G bid award for Pettis Park Pond Project. I have Dale Colrick, but I thought you might be taking this.
All right. As you know, we've been kind of working on this the last several months to get to this point. We did have a initial bid opening, but we did not receive any bids. But this past, well, actually today, we did receive 3 bids for this project, and staff would recommend Western Cleanup in the amount of $104,401.14. As you can see there are 2 ad alternates there that we are still discussing as staff whether we're going to move forward. We want to have the ability of doing that. One is a stormwater pipe, which is ad alternate B, and that will circumvent all the stormwater around the pond, and it'll trickle into the ponds that are between number 9 and 1 and 2. The reason for this is it keeps the water clarity quite a bit better for the Pettis pond along 9. Anything that goes into the gutters or anything else would be in that pond, and this would circumvent that, so it wouldn't just stay there. Since we are lining the pond, all that residue would just stay there. The other ad alternate is the water feature, and we just wanted to get that price to see if that was going to be something that was doable. Again, we're still discussing that amongst staff, whether that's what we want to do or not, but that is a kind of a waterfall that would come off up there by the clubhouse and trickle down into the number 9 pond and everything else and be recirculated and like that.
That was the second add-on?
Well, that's actually add-on A.
Oh, that's A.
Add-on
Okay.
B was the stormwater pipe,
Okay.
and that's what we really will be focused on doing. But the other one, when it came in as low as it did, it is a possibility for us to do also, and would add a little bit more character to the course. But again, we want to make sure it's exactly what we want to do, because it's a lifelong decision that we're doing and stuff. If there's any sort of technical questions or anything like that, Mr. Cox did come to the meeting
I knew that's
today,
why
and
you were here.
And he could
Yeah.
he could answer any questions as far as that goes. But we think this has been a big project for the foundation. They've been wanting to see this done, and I really do think it's going to add a lot of character to the golf course, and not only for playability, but also visually for people enjoying the restaurant and on the deck and stuff, because there will be lights, fountains, and everything else that go along with this bid too.
There was quite a difference in the 3 bids, I noticed.
There was, and it's very, very close to the engineer's estimate that we did prior to the bid. So I don't know why. It just, it was such a quick turnaround that we really didn't ask a lot of questions, but everything was up to date, and Dale and Chad both looked at the bids themselves, and they included everything, so we feel very comfortable with the bids.
Okay. Any questions on that? Okay, thank you, Lance. Oh, you did say Western Cleanup was staff
Yes.
recommendation for?
Yes.
Okay, all right, thank you. With that, I'd entertain a motion on this item.
I would move we approve the bid to, hold on, sorry. Western Cleanup, thank you, for the Pettis Park Pond project.
Okay, we have a motion to approve by Counselor Strow for Western Cleanup on this bid. Do I have a second?
A second.
Counselor Lundstrom seconds. Any further discussion?
Do we need to include the amount?
Probably.
Yeah, let's,
104.
okay, so you have the amount in front of you.
Yeah, can I amend that to approve it for $104,401.14 for the Pettis Pond project?
Okay, so since we have an amended motion, I'll ask for a second on the amended motion.
I second the amendment motion.
Counselor Lundstrom seconds the amended motion. Any further discussion? Good point. Roll call vote, please.
Counselor Garrell,
Yes.
Counselor Spradlin,
Yes.
Counselor Scalisi,
Yes.
Counselor Strow,
Yes.
Counselor Lundstrom,
Yes.
Mayor Bain.
Yes. Number 6, moving on to finance.
I move we approve disbursements and payroll from February 23rd, 2021 through March 8th, 2021 in the amount of $315,815.25.
Okay, we have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Counselor Scalisi seconds. Any further discussion? Roll call vote.
Counselor Stroud,
Yes.
Counselor Guerrero,
Yes.
Counselor Spradlin,
Yes.
Counselor Lindstrom,
Yes.
Counselor Scalisi,
Yes.
Mayor Bain.
Yes. Okay, moving on to staff reports. First up, I have Assistant City Administrator Rick Roglier.
So our building at 304 Clayton Street should be finished by the 22nd of this month. And then we'll start boxing stuff over and moving in. Another update, we had this past week and a half began to pursue trying to find another building technician. That replaces the building inspector. Once they get certified, then we'll make them the building inspector. But we had 7 applicants. We interviewed 3, and we were going to view all of them, but 3 of them didn't show up, or the others didn't show up. So we did interview the ones that did come, and we did select a candidate. And then we made an offer, and they accepted. So hopefully they will be starting in the next few weeks, and then going through some training. So that's really all I have to do.
I'm sure you're happy to hear that.
Yes, I am. I'm so overwhelmed right now.
Any
Rick is good.
experience
What's that?
with the candidate, any experience?
Yes, he had the most experience out of all of them. He was currently he has his own home inspection business that he is going to go ahead and close up and then make a lifelong career. This is what he's been wanting to do.
Okay,
So,
very good.
Yep.
Thank you for all your extra duty during this time.
yes, I know. Any other questions?
All
Great
right.
time hanging out with Justin this past week. He came by, and so it's good. Y'all are all welcome to come by and hang out. So.
All right. All right, thank you. Next up, Derek Boss, Chief of Police. Oh, he's not here. Okay, let's move on to Lance Schwint, Director of Community Services.
Just a couple things. We are just wrapping up basketball season, and we just started youth baseball signups. We had over 60 kids register for our 9 through 12-year-olds, which is really good. We're expecting, again, close to 250 kids out for baseball, which is very, very good considering last year we had to shut everything down about this time. So I think the kids are itching to do something, and so we're getting that going. We have the St. Patrick's Day race scheduled for this Saturday. Of course, I scheduled it, so there's going to be a snowstorm. So if the snowstorm does come, we will probably move it to the following week to March 20th. But we are looking to have the race this week, barring really bad weather where we can't.
Is snow in the forecast? Is it supposed to snow?
Yes.
Friday, Saturday,
Yes.
Sunday.
We've
Yeah.
done this 5K, I think, every year, and I'm pretty sure every
Yeah.
year it has snowed or rained.
I think maybe I'll advertise it like the day before from now on. So,
that might be it.
Right.
Okay.
But yeah, we got canceled last year because of COVID. It was the day
Right.
before it
Right.
started, and so we're hopefully going to have it. And we have all those who wonder who's going to be playing music at it. We'll have corned beef and cabbage that Greg Mayers and Verna Mayers are making, and then we'll have the green beer for
It's always
all
a good
those who are
time.
21 and older. So,
Yeah. Okay.
all right. Anyway, thank you, Council.
All right, thanks, Lance. Okay, moving on, Joanne Gosselin, Finance Director.
I have just one item this evening. I'm not sure council is aware, but our server went down on March the 2nd, Tuesday morning, bright and early last week. And so at this time, we're not sure when it will be back up. We did finally, by the end of last week, we got a PC up and running where we could do our accounting, which includes our utility billing, in-house, so we can wait on customers now when they walk in the door. We can at least do that. We can process paychecks, which was the huge issue, and also pay the bills and stuff like that. Where we see the biggest issue is our online utility customers. That piece of it is not up and running yet. Probably won't be for at least a week, maybe longer. We are currently looking at getting a new server bought and getting quotes for that. And once we get those and we get that server back and up and running, our online bill pay will go back on. At this time, as the online bill pay customers call in, we are letting them know that the server is down. We've also put it out on our Facebook that the online bill pay, that the server's down. And we had and we did that on the 4th, and we had about 314 people that we touched in that. And then we've also got it posted to our city webpage, and that was also posted on March the 4th as well. So hopefully, I think we've put it out to all of our normal avenues to let the customers know. Any of those online bill pay customers, they are mostly normally all current. So as long as they're current, if they have to wait a couple weeks, 3 weeks, they'll still be fine. They won't get charged any delinquent fee.
Okay.
For some strange reason, if they did, they just can contact me and I'll make sure that they get refunded the delinquent fee for the inconvenience, but we're working on it.
So this server doesn't impact automatically, if you have it taken out automatically out of your bank account?
It does,
It
yes,
does,
and that's the
okay.
people that's affected. So like that always usually comes out on
Okay.
the 6th of every month. Well, Corbin Willits, which is our
Yeah,
program, our software people, they are aware that the server is down. They're actually the ones that
Okay.
alerted us the day before that it was having some issues. Could we take it down and bring it back up? So Dale said, yeah, we'll take it down. I'll do it first thing Tuesday morning. Well, when he took it down, it did not come back up.
oh, I thought it only impacted people getting online to pay it for that month, not
Yeah.
people that it's.
But
set
it's
up.
all part of
Okay.
that online bill pay
Okay.
process,
Okay.
which is a really nice service. That's a free service to our citizens.
Yeah.
And during the COVID, it came in really handy for the citizens. We actually got a lot more people signed up to do it because it's at no cost to them. They can check their usage. They can pay their bill when they want, or they can put it on the online bill pay where it automatically comes out. So anyway, we're sorry that it is down, but it's kind of out of our control at the moment.
Okay.
We're working on it.
Okay, thank you. Next up, Loranda Packard, City Clerk.
I have nothing to report.
Okay. Dan Krubb, City Attorney.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I guess I want to start and just apologize for not being there. Just got the message today that I spent the weekend with someone who just tested positive, so I figured it's better to not get anyone else sick.
Absolutely.
I did want to touch base on the small cell contract that I'm sure you guys all memorized. It's a 27-page contract from last week, and make sure that I can answer any questions on that. And then are there any questions on that?
Well, should we direct those questions to the work session? We have it scheduled for the work session immediately after we adjourn.
Yeah, I apologize. Let's do that.
Okay.
I was also asked last week, and I forgot to do it, to address the difference between an ordinance and a resolution. Would you?
Yeah, if you want to give that information now, sure.
Yeah, so there's basically two ways that a council can act. The first, and more formal, is an ordinance. And this is always kind of a blurry line, so if you ever have questions or anything, feel free to ask me, because there are some technicalities to it. But in general, an ordinance is going to be a more formal action. You're going to have things like your notice requirements. You're going to have a council member introduce it. You're going to have your two readings. And the easiest way I can think of remembering it or differentiating the two is the ordinance is going to be more of a long-term rule. It's more of a, anytime you have a penalty or something that's not a one-time event, like you're amending your code, it's going to be done by ordinance, and that is the more formal of the two. To contest or to go over to a resolution, that's more of your one-time, it's a less formal thing. It doesn't require multiple readings. It's saying the council really wants to take this action, and it's for instance, for support for the meat industry or something like that. So,
Okay.
kind of that's the cliff notes of ordinance versus resolution. Again, I apologize, I can't be there, but were there questions on that?
I'm seeing a bunch of heads shaking no, so I think that that gives us what we needed on that, so I think we're good on that, Dan.
Okay, I will, be done boring you then, and let me know, feel free to call me if you have any questions.
No, thank you for that clarification, we appreciate it. All right, with that, I'll go ahead and open it up to mayor and council reports. Does anyone have anything they'd like to report tonight?
Just that I had a citizen reach out to me and ask if we were aware that the state of Colorado is planning to change their code or law in regards to golf carts being allowed to be driven on roadways. And
I haven't heard anything.
I haven't heard anything either. And so now they are concerned, as you know, many of the residents in Ward 1 drive
Yeah.
their golf carts up to the golf course. And so now they are concerned that we will have to be forced to change how we see that as well. So I just thought I'd bring that to your
I
guys' attention.
think,
You think he's,
yeah, I'm sorry.
I can comment on that.
Oh, I was gonna say, it would only apply to state roads, right?
State, yeah.
It does only apply to state roads. It only applies to one state road, and it's actually not golf carts, it is off-road vehicles.
Oh.
For them to get from one recreation area to another, it is not in Morgan County. And
Okay.
basically, it just gives them authorization to use the state road without a licensed vehicle in that one small portion only.
Yeah, see, I
Okay.
knew nothing about it. So when he brought it to my attention, I was like, I don't know, let me ask.
Yeah, no, that's a good, yeah, so it shouldn't impact
It
us,
does
really.
not impact Morgan County at all.
Morgan-
Good to
okay.
know. I'm glad you're here tonight.
Perfect timing. All right, anyone else have anything to report? Okay, the only thing I would say is, since we added this resolution onto our work session, that, depending on how that discussion goes, that could call for a special meeting for council to act on that resolution, because of course, we can't take any action tonight as a work session, so I just wanted to talk about that. With that, I'll go ahead and adjourn the meeting, and we'll go ahead and move into our work session immediately.
And I'm going to run away.
I was,
It's almost perfect timing.